Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Looking for Love, a show all about bridging the gap between Generation X men and Generation X women so that we can love, live, and be happy together and not have to go for somebody younger or somebody older. But just maybe we could just stay in our generation and have happy, healthy relationships. So I'm your co-host Trey Kearney, and this is my co-host.
Lamar Hall.
And we are here every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel. But today it's 9 o'clock because I was late in some meetings and people got to get their money because people got to feed their kids. So now we're here. How was your week, Lamar?
It's good. My baby girl graduated Saturday.
Oh, yes. That's
Yeah.
right. I forgot. How was that?
It was very good. Very proud of her. She's headed off to Orlando Saturday. She has a post internship with Disney.
Oh, nice. Very
Mhm.
nice. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's get
Yep.
this. Let's get this. That's amazing. So, congratulations on
Thank
that
you.
'cause it takes a village. You
Oh,
do that.
it's old. Seven. It took her 7 years because she took 2 years because of the divorce. She said it traumatized her. I the same thing. I told her, I said, your mother and I didn't get that luxury.
You know what? Like, stop. These kids really be acting like we doing something to them.
I just had a conversation with somebody today, and it said the kids today, on average, are about 10 years younger at that age in acting how we were.
Right. They are. They just lost in the sauce. And I feel
It's so
sad for
lost.
them, but we ain't gonna worry about them.
No, we ain't worry
So
about them.
congratulations to your daughter. I'm so
Thank you.
proud of her. Like
Thank
she
you.
got it done, even though 7 years,
You
we
got it
still
done.
be like,
Well, she told me it took me 14. So I went back. It took me 14. So she's like, I
oh,
beat you. I said, yeah. I said, but I paid for mine. I paid for everything. You should have been done in 3.
and
Come
we
on,
get it
girl.
done. We get it done. That's okay.
Yeah, we
So
got it done. We all good.
yeah, so we running late, so we gonna get started because we got a lot of good
Let's
things
go.
going on tonight. So we're gonna start with our first question. If this is your first time here, we get questions from our viewers who want us to talk about relationships and give our input. And let me just start with this. There was a man, he might be on right now. I'm not sure on TikTok. I can't read it verbatim because my phone is on TikTok. But he sent me a message and said his wife is going on a girls' trip to Hawaii with her friends and she never told him. He found out and now he's upset because he wanted to go to Hawaii with her and she knew it was on his bucket list. So then she told him, well, we can go another time. And he said now he don't want to go.
Because she already
'Cause-
went. Yeah. I mean,
right.
I
So
kind of want
he's
to experience it with her the first time.
yeah, so he's upset. So he said, I think his question was he being petty? And he said, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that with my boys. Here's the kicker. He said, I wouldn't be able to do that with my boys because I would tell my boys, I have to discuss this with my wife first.
Good man.
But she didn't discuss it with him. He said she had been planning it for a year.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, communication is lacking there. So I don't think he's being petty. I just think he's being truthful. His feelings are hurt. And I mean, again, that's not a reason to leave somebody. But I mean, yeah, you could be petty and, just you feel some type of way, you express it. And over time, it'll be okay.
Right. I don't think he's going to leave her. He just said, I think this is unacceptable because she planned this with her girls. He said they were her friends for over 40 years. And oh, that was another thing he said. It's coming back to me. I wish I could get my other phone, but I can't right now because I have to get up and move a whole bunch of stuff. But he said, I think that she treats her girlfriends better than she treats me. I think she puts her girlfriends before us.
How long they been married?
I don't think he said.
Yeah. So
But
40-year friendship
oh,
is pretty special, but if you're married, you're supposed to communicate with your spouse. And if she's planning something behind his back for a year, it raises red flags.
yeah, they're older because I can see his picture. So, sometimes we can't see because they be sending me, but I can see his picture. They're an older couple, and I'm not sure how long they've been married, but I'm sure it's been a long
I've
time
been a while.
because he said it's been on his bucket list. And I just feel like this, and I say this all the time to couples nobody comes before the husband, and nobody comes before the wife. Nobody comes in between the husband and the wife except for God. When you start letting other people come before your spouse, And between you and your spouse, your marriage is not going to last.
True.
I hate to say that, but
It's true.
nobody comes before your spouse. When you take that vow to be married, that's it. We become one and everybody else becomes second to none. And we don't do none of that. So, like, again, I don't think this is a case for divorce or anything, but I do think that a conversation needs to happen.
Right.
And he really needs to know where her head is at in this marriage right now, because that's a red flag. Like, are you still in love? Are we still in this together, or are we roommates? Because it sounds like, to some degree, she is checking out.
Well, if they're older, and let's just say that she is a little livelier than him, he's not moving, and it sounds like she wants to be out, or maybe out with her girlfriends a little bit more.
Well,
Then
he
he
said that
probably
life is bucket list, and she knew it.
Yeah, I mean that's cold. I mean that if you knew your husband that's his bucket list and you planned that trip secretly, that's a tough one there.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said,
I mean, he can go with his boys now. Should be no problem.
I don't even think that's his plight. I don't even think that's his problem. But I think it's time now. Like, when we're in relationships for a long time, I think at some point we got to sit down and have a fresh conversation. Like, if you've been married to somebody for 25 years and things like this start to happen, I think it's time to reevaluate the situation to make sure everybody's still on the same page. Because if she'll surprise you by going to Hawaii, she'll surprise you and you'll wake up one morning and she won't be there. Like, her sisters and her homegirls will come and pack her stuff while you at work.
Wow.
And you got to, again, when we see things, we have to say something. When you see something, say something. And again, my brother, if you're watching me, I'm not saying that it's time for divorce or whatever. I'm just saying it's time for a real level of communication and a real evaluation. Like, sometimes you got to renegotiate the contract. And I'm not saying marriage is a contract like that, but I'm just saying
it is. But I mean, I like how you put that. You have to renegotiate.
Sometimes you got to renegotiate the terms and conditions because you're at a different age. Some things have gone on. She may want something different that she's not articulating to you. Like, the attraction may have changed for each other. So you got to sit down and have these hard conversations to say, hey, what's going on that you were planning a whole trip a year in advance and I'm finding out when you're about to get on the boat. Like, that's not cool. And I would never do that to you, because I always tell my boys, and this is what he said, I would tell my boys, I have to discuss this with my wife before I make this type of decision. So watch out.
It sounds like he's valuing the marriage a little bit more than her, or he has a lot more respect for her, and she's not valuing his opinion or getting any type of feedback from him. So it's communication. They need to sit down and talk.
Yes, y'all sit down and have a real good conversation. She might not want to have it before Hawaii, but when you come back, y'all need to sit down and talk. Right. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love. My name is Trey Kearney. This is my co-host,
Lamar Hall.
We're here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel, Eastern Standard Time. I know y'all thinking, wait a minute, it's after 9, but I had some business to take care of today, so we came on at 9, but normally we're here at 8. If you have a question or a relationship topic you would like us to talk about, please shoot us a DM, or you can email info@treykearney.com. We'd be more than happy to answer your question or talk about a topic that you like to talk about relationship-wise for Generation X men and Generation X women. So let's get to our next official question.
Right.
Why does my husband keep cheating on me? I'm 52 years old. I married my husband when I was 35. When I met him, he was struggling to get ahead, but I still decided to give him a chance. I encouraged him to go back to school to get his master's degree. I funded that through my own money as well as a loan. He got his master's. I worked with him to start a successful construction business. He is very successful now. I have done everything. Before you ask, I satisfy him sexually, never tell him no. I cook, I clean. I'm very laid back, not a nag. I take great care of myself physically. I am financially secure on my own. I take care of my home and our 2 daughters. He's had several affairs. One resulted in a child. I have forgiven and not held anything over his head. We've been through several rounds of counseling. During one of the during one of the rounds of counseling the whole time he was cheating. I'm not sure what the problem is. He says there is no problems. So my question is, why does my husband keep cheating?
I'll let you go. I want to hear what you got to say first.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to be real honest with you, sis. Your husband keep cheating because you keep letting him.
Ooh.
I mean, wrong behavior without consequences is more wrong behavior. So you have allowed this man, you said that he has several affairs. You have allowed this man to cheat on you several times with no consequences to his actions. You have forgiven him. This man has brought home an outside baby from an affair, and you have forgiven him. So he doesn't respect you no more than you respect yourself. So until there's some consequences to his actions, honey, this is your fate. And I believe, y'all know I love the Lord, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But I do believe sometimes in a marriage, there is time for a season of separation until people get their whole entire life together. And every time a woman asks me, why does my boyfriend, husband, fiance keep cheating? Because you keep letting them.
I agree. I mean, she's putting up with bad behavior. I mean, you can't be mad at the outcome if you're putting up with it. I mean, change the scenario. If you're a parent and your child smacks you in the face and you don't correct them, you blame the child.
They're gonna smack you in the face again.
Smack you in the face again. It's gonna get harder and harder.
I would ask the question of, why do you keep allowing this behavior? Like, what's in it for you? Again, people allow bad behavior and people allow people to treat them a certain way because what are you getting out of the deal? Usually when I hear women talk is because they're afraid because they can't financially stand on their own 2 feet. But you said you're financially stable, you're physically fit, you're giving this man everything he needs sexually. So the problem really is you, because if there's nothing left, and a lot of times we're looking at ourselves from our perspective of greatness. So are you really giving him the things that he needs? And I'm not saying that you're not. But when we look at the love languages, a lot of times we're loving a man the way that we want to be loved, right? And a lot of times a man is loving us the way that he wants to be loved. And we're thinking because we're loving them with our all the way that we would want to be loved, that we're giving them everything. So are you giving this man time? Because you said you take care of the kids, you take care of the house, you cook, you clean. Are you giving him the time that he needs? And Lamar talks about this all the time. Are you letting him lay his head on your lap and
Peace.
connecting him the way that he wants to be connected? Are you watching football games and yelling and cheering and screaming with him? Because I can't imagine, unless you just have a man that has, what do you call it? He's a nymphomaniac, or he's just a serial cheater, or he just needs to go to counseling by himself, or he's a narcissist, whatever those things are, but you know your husband. But unless none of those, if those things are not involved, there's a miss on your part. And I'm not ever saying that a man is cheating because of a woman, because that's his decision instead of leaving. But cheating is usually a symptom of a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So are you giving them head?
Here we go. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, create peace. Are you creating that space, this peace? Are you being his friend? Are you into his interest? I mean, men are not that difficult. I mean, we really aren't. And if you can get a man and a man that's a little older, he'll be more honest with you, and he should know exactly what he wants, and he should be able to communicate. Oh, they're in the 50s. Yeah. They're fine. I mean, he should be able to communicate that, and be like, this is what I need, and this is what you're not doing. So
right.
I don't know, man. If you're in your 50s and you're still doing all that cheating stuff, man, like what's the end goal? I mean, I don't, it's never right. And this is coming from someone who did cheat, and I never felt good doing it. I mean, I did it because it was a peacekeeper for me. It was just for me to keep my head in a certain place because I wasn't physically getting what I needed. So once I got that physical need, then the remorse kind of came, and I was always like, man, I really don't want to do this. But she wasn't fulfilling the need, and as much as I begged, it was just that's just what I had to do. And then, oh, well, you're a cheater. Like I told you, I've had 2 or 3 relationships since. Never did that. So you got to create peace, and that's one thing that I have looked for since I've been divorced is, do you create peace?
And again, I have to say, I know a lot of times as women, we think we're doing everything. Like none of us are perfect. She said, I cook, I clean. Physically, I never tell him no. And then you got to look at it from the perspective of if you cook and you clean and you never tell him no, you're doing all of the wonderful things that you should do and you're being the woman that you should be. Why are you rewarding him for his poor behavior? Because when you reward people for their poor behavior, you're unconsciously giving your husband permission to cheat on you because he's already figured out that she ain't going nowhere. So what are the consequences of my actions? A little bit of yelling, a little bit of let's go to counseling, a little bit of you ain't this, or whatever your tactic is, it's not working. So he knows whatever that is, the consequences is not great enough for him to stop cheating. And somebody said, my ex stopped cheating after the divorce because there was a consequence. So there always has to be consequences and boundaries set because you, my girl, have not set boundaries with your husband and you have not set non-negotiables. So until you sit down and say, my non-negotiables are you can't cheat on me. And when that thing happens, then you get to walk away. So again, this is another case of y'all need to sit down and you need to have a real conversation with him and say, listen, let me tell you this. This is our renegotiation of our marriage contract. Let me tell you this. If you cheat on me again, the marriage is over. Maybe I never told you that.
Right.
So you're not clear. But I'm telling you right now, she said they've been married for about 17 years. Ooh. So I'm telling you right now,
right.
This is year 1 for me with you. I'm cleaning the slate. I'm moving forward. You didn't have this kid that I'm sure helping with at a wedlock and messing around on me. Today is day 1 of year 1 of our fresh new contract in this marriage. And here are my non-negotiables. If you cheat on me, this marriage is over. And at that point, the only person that has to honor your non-negotiables, boo, is you.
True. Trying to lay the law.
Yeah, just unless you're just going to do this for the rest of your life. And I'm sure at 52, your children are pretty much close to grown.
Yeah.
So, or grown.
You know what? And it's sad that she probably really doesn't want to get back out there and she's just
right.
Nonsense, and that's so unfortunate. But
just have the real conversation of if this is what you want, if you really want to be with me, because clearly I've shown you my loyalty. Clearly I've shown you my faithfulness. Clearly I've shown you that I love you and I want to be with you and I have a forgiving heart. But you're taking advantage of me now. So I just have to have this conversation with you. This is day 1 of the rest of our life. And if you do that again, then I have to just let you go and release myself. As much as I don't want to get back out here in these streets.
Right.
I will. I'm only 52. 52 is not old.
It's not old, but it ain't fun.
No,
it ain't fun for a 52-year-old woman that's been married 17 years to get back out there because that's what I was experiencing talking to women that have been married 10 plus years. They just have the game changes so fast and they get so frustrated and they're like, I don't want to play these games. And it's not necessarily games. It's just learning how to maneuver with what you got, and there's certain rules that are going to be, accepted. There's a certain behavior that now is culturally accepted when you're dating. And we being older, we remember old values and we want to bring those old values, and it's a 50-50 shot if you get that.
Well, it ain't fun being cheated on. And with those old values being talked about, we're dating older men that should be in the same vein with the same old values as us. I don't care if the times change. These men are 50-something years old. Your values are the same values that I grew up with.
Your values will remain the same, but you may not place them in the priority that they once were. So and again, it's a case by case, woman by woman thing. Every woman does not get treated the same, unfortunately. So, a man, if he meets you and he shows you he's a gentleman, isn't that? That's because you presented yourself in a certain way. If you don't present yourself in that way, today's game, you're going to get ran through the ringer. So you got to do some work on you, on how you present yourself. And a man will know a woman that he can manipulate, and a man will know a woman that don't play these games. So that's what you got to be ready for all of that.
Right. Well, sis, listen, Either you're gonna have a real conversation with your husband and say, listen, you do this again, I'm walking, and you gotta be willing to walk, or you're just gonna deal with this for the rest of your life because clearly he has a behavior that you've accepted for so long that it has become the norm in your home. This is just normal behavior. He goes out and cheats, he comes home, you want to go to counseling, you forgive him, and then he promises to never do it again, and then whatever happens to trigger him to go do it again, and then you have the same vicious cycle going on, but you have to do something different because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Pack that brother bag. I'm sorry, and I'm not promoting divorce, but pack his bag for a season of separation, put it on the porch and say, right now the buck stops here. You decide what you want to do, because what you're not going to do is show my daughters this disrespect, because your daughters are looking now. You got 2 girls that's watching their father run game on you. This man came home with a baby. Like, you don't think your girls are like, and our kids, let me tell you something about our kids. Our kids be like, why are you still with him?
Right.
Why my son had a conversation with me one time, like, why you still letting daddy come over? Like, real talk. Like, he really was like, yo, what's going on with you? Like, and I was just like, mind your business. But he was right. He was like, what's going on? Kids be really like, why mommy letting daddy run amok on her? This and brought a whole baby home to us. And she's still here with him.
Yeah, you're teaching bad behavior. I mean, that unfortunately you're showing your daughters really bad behavior, and they go, "Oh, well, my mom accepted it. Maybe I should accept it too." Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's
right. Or you're gonna make them not want to ever get married.
True.
Because this is what marriage looks like to them. Oh, men cheat and women stick around. Like, these young women, they like, men cheat with, why y'all, so you may make her not ever want to get married based on your behavior, because one day they're gonna have a real conversation with you. I don't know how old your kids is, but kids just be fed up.
Kids put it together. I mean, my daughter's 25 and she's come over to my place plenty of times, and she looks at me and go, Dad, I understand. I'm like, huh? Right. She's like, I get it. Like,
right. Now I see.
Yeah, she's like, because I mean, for a long time I was the buffer, so now she never saw any of that stuff. Now I'm gone. She's getting 100% of all of that, and she came over today, and she was. Whew, I told her, I said, "You got 3 days." I said, "You got 3 days. You gone." She was at her end, and I just looked at her. I go, "Daddy can't help you. I cannot help you." It's like you are on your own. I am not picking up the phone and calling your mama. Are you crazy? Set me up.
You got 3 days. Just
3 days. Just hold on. Stay away from the house. Or you want to come over here and lay on the couch? You're more than welcome.
Right. Yeah. Come on over. But again, we show our children, we're their blueprint, right? We're showing them what's normal and what's not. So my sister, I don't know how old your daughters are, but at this point, you can set a standard for them to show them, like, no, you can't do this to me anymore, so that they understand at some point somebody said enough is enough. And the rubber, when the rubber meets the road, like at some point, girls, you have to put your foot down and say, no, this is not what we're doing anymore. So we wish you luck. I'm not even, like I said, I'm not promoting divorce, but sometimes you got to put a brother's bag on the porch and say, until you get your whole entire life together, she can have you. Right. Go over where you was at, because clearly you got somewhere to stay. You got baby mamas outside this marriage. Ugh. You got several affairs, so I'm sure you got somewhere to go. So until you decide that you want to honor this marriage, and not only with your daughters, hit the road, Jack. So I hope that was helpful. Yes. If you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. We're here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm your host, Trey Kearney, and this is my co-host,
Lamar Holt.
And we're here to talk about Generation X relationships, bridging the gap, and just really just doing better as a generation. Because we've noticed, myself and Lamar, that men are going to younger women. And we noticed that women are going to younger men or older men. And there's a miss between Generation X men and women. And we're trying to bridge that gap so we can have healthy, whole, happy relationships. So if you're here for that, you're tuned into the right place. So let's go to my question. Scary Harry. This man I'm dating is amazing. He's a nice guy, very attentive, compliments me all the time, and is financially fit, in shape. He's all the things. Now, here's the problem. He invited me to a friend's anniversary beach party. So he said, be sure to bring a swimsuit, sunblock, and all the necessary beach things. I was super excited. Oh, by the way, we were flying to Malibu, all expenses paid. When we got to the beach and he took his clothes off, his whole body was covered in hair. I mean, covered. I was immediately taken aback and turned off. Honestly, I threw up a little in my mouth. We spent the weekend together and I made it through. I told my girls what happened and that I did not want to see him anymore. They said I was being very superficial. Why is that superficial? I don't want to deal with that for the rest of my life. What are your thoughts?
He can shave. Like, I mean, are we talking Chewbacca or Bigfoot? I mean, like, what?
Said he was covered, and when I say covered, I mean covered.
That sounds like an exaggeration, but we'll go. Let's run with it. Let's say he's covered. Have a conversation with him. This man loves you. Shave your body. There's laser. There's a lot of things that can be done, you know, in lieu of breaking up with your ideal guy because he's too hairy.
How hairy is he though? Like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna just assume that he's Chewbacca. So that's
right. So what are you gonna do about that? That's like, there's really nothing you can do if you're that hairy. Like,
sheer as sheep.
But what happens when it starts to grow back? Like, is it stubbly? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot to that. Like,
I mean, he's gonna have to stay up on the upkeep. I mean, like I said, in certain areas, I mean, you get laser. I mean, you can do certain things. I mean, it seems like an extreme situation to be like, oh, you don't want to see him anymore because he's hairy.
That had to be hairy. I'm serious. Like she said,
I want to see a picture. Let's see it. Send us a picture. I want to see how hairy this guy is.
My mouth, like, I'm serious. Like, I've seen some hairy men. Not.
Yeah, but okay.
I've seen some hairy men. I was like, look at his back. Like, I've seen hairy men on the beach, and I'm just like, oh no, what is?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you are a hairy man, then you shave it. Some women like it, but I mean, I don't know. It's just some women like hair. I mean, I let my hair grow on my chest in the wintertime and then I shave it off in the summertime because I'm at the pool. But
there's a difference between having hair on your chest and having hair on your whole body. And
that's true. I mean, you get hair on your back. That's a whole nother level of hairy.
That's what I'm saying. I seen that. And is it taco meat hair? Like, is it nappy?
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's when you got to shave it.
I'm just saying, because she mortified. She's like, I want to say this though, seriously, on a serious note. If it turns you off like that, and you're looking for a future spouse, somebody to spend the rest of your life with, it's okay to walk away. I'm saying this, but you may not get another man that's very nice to you, financially fit, and all of those things that you talked about. So is the risk worth the reward, right? Of finding somebody that's physically attractive without the hair, as opposed to them not being financially fit, not treating you nice, not complimenting you, not flying you out to Malibu. Like, is it worth it? But again,
the gamble. I mean, listen, you got to go into dating knowing you're not going to get perfect. You're not going to get everything you want. So you got to rank what your deal breakers are. Now, if you start, maybe you didn't know hairy was your deal breaker. Now you know.
Right.
So now you know. So it's like, that's the whole.
I'm sorry, but the girls, I don't know if it's superficial. It may be, you might be jumping, you might be letting a good person go, but I don't know if it's superficial, if that's not your preference. And if it turns you off like that, I would say let that man go and find somebody that doesn't care if he's hairy, because this is going to bother her. Like, True. She just being honest, like, oh my God, he was hairy and it was beyond hairy. Like, oh my God, I threw up a little bit in my mouth. Like,
so let me give you a scenario. What if a man did the same thing and a woman had stretch marks?
Stretch mark? Well, no. If that's his preference, if the stretch mark,
if he truly is like, I'm disgusted by it, is that fair?
Yeah, it really is. If he's disgusted by it, you can't tell somebody what to be disgusted by.
Okay.
Right? This man, stretch marks are beyond our control.
Hair is beyond his control. He didn't
Say that. Yeah, hair is beyond his control. If something disgusts the man, if stretch marks disgust him, he has every right to say, I don't want a woman with a bunch of stretch marks.
But what I'm saying is, would people be as understanding if it was a man saying, "Oh, I don't want to date this woman because she has stretch marks"?
I would.
I think women would be like, "Oh, you being petty." Da, da, da. And men are not going to do that. But I think women would be pretty offended, that would be something. So it's what's good for you has got to be good for him. So you have to put yourself in a position to say, if hair turns you off, that there might be a man that sees something on you to be like, and you got to take that too. So,
right.
So I have, in 52 years being a man, it's not fair. For a man, it is not fair. So we do not get to do the same things that women get to do. And I just caution when women are so quick to go, "Oh, this, and leave them." It's like, come on, man. Because if we were on here and in the same scenario and it's a woman with stretch marks, them comments wouldn't be nice.
For me, and at my age and what I'm doing, in my life, I believe everybody gets to decide for themselves. And if stretch marks is too much for a man, or too many kids is too much for a man, or a woman with a bald head, or whatever he says, like, I'm not trying to by that. I feel like that's okay. That's okay.
So I agree with you. I agree with you. Everyone has their preference, but I'm saying is that I think you and I are not the norm. And I think the majority of people, and it would be frowned upon. So I'm just saying, if you don't like it, then cut it, move. But just understand you're gonna give up something. So the next guy may not be what you want.
Right. But again, just understand nobody's gonna be perfect. But if Harry is too much for you, because again, at our age, she didn't say how old she was, but at our age,
right,
something's not going to be
right.
Something. And
nothing's going to be perfect. So you're going to have to really understand what you're trying to do. Because stretch marks turned me off. That was one of the things. And I dated somebody who had extreme stretch marks, and I just dealt with it. It bothered her. She hated it, but I just never made it an issue.
Bothered you?
It bothered me, yeah.
So why would you
that seems petty, seems superficial.
So every time you looked, you didn't like it?
Yeah, almost.
Right, but I'm just saying, why would you even?
But it wasn't a turnoff.
But you didn't, when you looked at it, you was like, oh no, they stretch.
I was just like when she's in a bikini or something like that.
Right, but this is why would you even be with somebody that made you?
Oh, I mean, she's a beautiful girl, but the stretch marks. I mean, if you don't see the stretch marks, you'll be like, oh, she's beautiful. But you see the stretch marks, you'll be like, ooh, those are extreme. I mean, they were extreme.
Well, what did she blow up and then lose a lot?
Yeah, I think she had and again, my ex-wife, when she got pregnant, she no stretch marks, but she lathered up. I mean, her, obviously your skin's going to expand, and I cocoa buttered her up every night. She had no stretch marks. So right. When your body loses that elasticity, is trying to stretch, it's like leather. You gotta moisturize it and do that. And I don't think when you're younger, like a younger woman, because she was like 25 years old when she got pregnant, so she didn't know. So it's just.
I just don't think that I would want, if a man looked at me and he saw something about me, and when I put on a bikini, and I'm his woman, I would rather him just let me go. I don't want you even looking at me like, ugh.
It wasn't, but it was just like, but it never was like
whatever. You was.
I listen. I could have did without it, but there wasn't the option. So you just have to rank it. Where is it on the list? I mean, she wasn't a bad person. She just had extreme stretch marks.
If you're looking at me like, just let me go. I'm okay with it because I want you to have what you want, and I don't want you to ever look at me like So
So,
that
so
woman
the
looking at
question,
that hairy.
right? So I would ask, when she met him, did she not look at his arms? Did she not look at his neck? Did she? I mean, what was she looking at?
I don't know.
If he's extreme hairy, like she's saying, he's probably got hair like all up his neck and his back and stuff. So
No,
it's like,
that's a good question. Maybe he shaved his arms, like his forearms.
okay, then he knows he's hairy. Then you can have a discussion. It's okay.
But is he gonna shave his whole body? Like, and how long? How can you maintain it? Like, ugh.
I got a buddy from high school, and he hates hair, and I don't like hair either. But he shaved his whole body.
But
Like,
how hairy was he? Like,
I don't know. I don't think he was hairy like that. But I mean, he
that's
just
a whole nother level
he
of.
was spending. He told me, he said, "Man, I'm 45 minutes to an hour in the shower shaving." And I'm like, "Dang!" But I mean, like I said, if he, the only men that I've seen that extreme hair is like Middle Eastern guys. I don't really see black men or anything like that. That's hairy,
Right.
hairy like that.
I
It
would think the men on the
might be
beach,
patchy,
they
but
weren't black. The men I saw on the beach, they weren't black.
so I mean,
Hairy
middle-
men on the beach, and I was like, "Dang, at least shave that back before you come outside." Like, I don't want to see that. But if it was I wouldn't want to date a hairy guy like that either. No offense to any hairy guy, because there's a lid for every pot. But to the woman, if that's not your thing, ma'am, you have every right to walk away and not feel guilty, because your girls don't have to lay next to him. You do.
have the discussion with the man and see if he'll shave his body first.
Or wax. But
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things to do that you're gonna let that's gonna be the thing. I mean, okay, if you're saying right now you're gonna leave him, then just sit down and say, hey, listen, I don't like all the hair. Are you open to shaving or lasering or waxing and stuff like that? And he goes, nah, okay, I can't really do it. I gotta go.
okay, I agree. But if it's that hairy, that's going to be really hard.
Oh, computer's restarting.
That's going to be really hard to maintain that level of waxing and all
Trey's
that.
about to lose me.
Okay, come back in when you can.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, so again, ladies, I just have to say this. It is your decision. If a person has anything that you don't like, you get to walk away and you get to decide for yourself. Don't let your girlfriends decide for you. Don't let your friends, don't feel shallow about something that's just not what you want. And for the men too, if it's stretch marks, if it's fat, whatever it is, if it's not your cup of tea, then you get to decide for you, and you get to move forward, and you get to do what it is that you want to do for you. So don't feel bad, sis. That's all I'm saying. Let me read some of your comments. It's not being vain if your stomach is searched out or stretched out of shape. It's a turn off, right? And you get to decide for yourself if that's what you want. I'm with you, Trey. If that's the turn, if that turned off, it's time. If they're turned off, it's time to move on. Don't force it. It's a problem, right? He's gonna be alone for a long time. The speech is disturbing. What speech is disturbing? He could have waxed it off, right? I wouldn't want to be someone that vain. There's way more important things to think about. A problem with stretch marks from a man whose child you birth is when it's wrong otherwise. After childbirth, you get stretch marks, right? Listen, again, like, we have to really just be honest with ourselves. A person gets to choose what it is that they want. A person gets to choose what it is that they don't like, and nobody gets to tell them, whether it's stretch marks. And again, somebody said it on TikTok. If the baby was your baby and your woman got stretched out, then you should not have a problem with the woman with the stretch marks. You should be willing to hang with your baby mama if she got the stretch marks giving birth to your child. But outside of that, if it's a dude that you just met, he gets to walk away and say, that's too many stretch marks for me. And for a hairy back man or a hairy man, how much hair is on him? How can he shave and maintain? And how long is the hair going to be off? What does it look like when the hair grows back? These are just some questions that I'm pondering for myself. So I don't think that she's being shallow. I just think that she has every right to not want to be with a hairy man. So if you just tuned in, you're tuned into Looking for Love on the New You Nation Network YouTube channel. We're here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am your host, Trey Kearney. My co-host, Lamar, is having some technical difficulties, but he'll be right back in. And I am going to move forward with the next question. Or maybe I'll wait for him and ask you guys, would you be willing to deal with a woman who had extreme stretch marks? Put a number 1 in the chat if you would, and put a number 2 in the chat if you would walk away. And for the women, would you be willing to deal with a man who's hairy all over, extremely hairy? Put a number 1 in the chat and a number 2 if you wouldn't. What about the white picture? What white picture? Of course, if it's your wife, I can deal with it, but somebody I just met. So, Calvin, you would be willing to walk away from a woman that you just met that has stretch marks? That's too much for you? Shay said 1. Okay, Calvin said Calvin's walking away. So this woman's not wrong. So we all get to decide. All they gotta do is wax it. Done. Asia, she said he was extremely hairy. Extremely hairy. How much waxing can you do? 1, we must talk about it. Yes, Tony. There's a lot of waxing that goes on when a person is extremely hairy. A lot of waxing. How can you maintain if your back is full of hair? And I'm just asking because I don't know. Love the wisdom. Thank you. I don't know how you would maintain that. Get a whole body wax. It's gonna grow back. So I just think that she has every right to walk away. So I'm gonna go to the next question. My daddy was hairy. How hairy was he? He might not want to wax every time. Right. Waxing is painful. Who you want somebody snatching the hair off your body? Ladies, we know we get a wax on our cuckoo, right? I don't be letting nobody mess around in my girly areas. Like, that's too much for me. Maybe I'm shy or whatever. I don't know. I'm shy. I'm not with that. I don't do the waxing thing. I maintain it. I keep it maintained, but the waxing is not for me. So, because waxing hurts your eyebrows. Like, oh my gosh, no. So we get it done, but it's painful. You're not talking about Asia. You're not talking about getting your whole body waxed. You're talking about getting a landing strip or your vagina waxed. That's a small area. We're talking about a person getting their whole body waxed. Hold on. I don't see that as a bad thing. Hairy? Some women like hairy men, I think. Saying Trey, not me. Yeah, I don't mess around with no waxing. I know that's right. A real man appreciate a nature woman. Don't start, y'all. Don't start. I'm not waxing the girlies either. I'm not signing up for that. Nah, I'm not. I'm all right with who I am all over. The whole thing is I'm okay with who I am. So I'm gonna go to the next question. I think Lamar is having a hard time coming back in, but I don't be letting folks out in this world we live in. Let me say this: in this world that we live in, people are nuts. People just doing people just doing stuff. So the less I gotta let people have access to any part of me, the better for me. The doctors is doing stuff, the waxers, everybody doing. The less access people have to me, the better. So then I'm gonna go to the next one because these are a couple good ones, and I don't want to miss out. Let me go to this one. I'm gonna go to this one until Lamar comes back. And the brothers, you could chime in on Lamar's behalf if he doesn't come back in because we only have a few minutes left. So here's our next question from one of our viewers. Everybody farts. I am so mad right now. I've been with my boyfriend. Hold on, I need my glasses so I don't sound crazy. I've been with my boyfriend for a little over a year. We are at each other's houses all the time. We don't live together, but I'm either at his place or he's at mine. So we've discussed moving in together when our leases are up. I've been staying at his place more frequently, and I've gotten quite comfortable, and I don't mind farting around him. He has a problem with that. He said, excuse yourself and go in the bathroom. I told him to chill. Everybody farts. So I just fart when I have to. Lately, he's been standoffish and telling me he's tired, and we've been spending less time together. I went to his house unannounced because I thought he was up to something, but he wasn't. So we had a real conversation. He wants to break up because I don't leave the room to fart. Is farting a problem for you? Let me say this. right? This is a good one because my stepfather, right, was a me and him used to talk when I used to do his hair. My stepfather used to get a Jerry curl. And Calvin said, no, farting's not a problem for him. Okay, good. Brothers, put a number 1 in the chat if farting is okay with you, a number 1, and a number 2 if you would prefer the woman to walk out of the room. So my stepfather, we used to have these talks when I was doing his hair. He used to get Jerry curls, and it would take us some time. And my stepfather told me something a long time ago. And he said, listen to me, remember this when you get married, when you're dating, when you're living with somebody. He said, I'll never forget this conversation. So this is so good. I don't like that. That's not a deal breaker. Oh, you don't like it though. He don't really love you wanting to break up over farting. Okay. But let me say this. My stepfather told me this a long time ago. He said, when you can, you should get up and excuse yourself, right? When you can, you should get up and excuse yourself. He said, because don't no man want to smell your insides. And I was like, what? He said, don't no man want to know what you smell like on the inside. He said, so there's sometimes that, and I believe this, there's times where all of us, when we're at work, when we're at somebody's home, when we're at an event, that we will walk away and excuse ourselves when we feel our stomach doing something, right? We'll walk away and like, let me go in the bathroom. Or, I mean, if you're in a car driving with somebody, of course you can't, there's really nothing you could do about it. But if you're in your home and your man is sitting on the couch, or you're in your bed and you can actually get up and excuse yourself and go into the bathroom. It's ladylike, and vice versa for the men. I don't want to smell your insides either. What's going on? You want the phone? I don't want to smell your insides either. So if that's a problem for him and she just refuses to get up and walk away, it smells, of course. Go to the bathroom. Don't they all smell, Calvin? Calvin, when have you ever smelled a fart that smelled good? You tell me. I'm with this brother. And I'm not saying they should break up because of this, but she should be able to say, you know what? If it offends you, if I can, I will get up and I will excuse myself and I will go to the bathroom, or I'll walk away. It's not necessary just because you're laying there to let it all hang out. Like, I don't even like it with my kids. Like, you couldn't go to the bathroom. You don't teach your kids that. I'm having a real conversation with y'all right now. You don't teach your kids or to get up and excuse themselves or to just walk away when they have to pass gas. I've always gotten up with any man that I've been with, and I'm not saying it hasn't happened before, because of course it can happen. It's not respectful, sis. I hear you. Yeah, I just think that if you can, and I understand when we get married and when we're in a car or when we're, all of a sudden one slip out, but we usually know when we have to pass gas. It's a deal breaker. She has to decide to adjust or break up. It's a deal breaker for him. It is a deal breaker because he's ready to go. And I don't blame him. I don't want my man. I don't think that's funny. Maybe I'm bougie and ghetto, but some things ain't acceptable to me. I don't want my man passing gas all the time. Are you looking for a new man? I didn't smell it. It was just gas and loud. And loud? Oh, no. See, ladies, let me speak to my sisters. Because I don't know who her mama is and I don't know who her daddy is. But let me speak to the ladies. Excuse yourself and you won't have these problems.
I'm back.
Hey, Lamar's back. So we just have this one right here. It's okay.
All right, where we at?
Our next question. I'm going to read the question for you again, and I'm going to let Lamar answer from a man perspective because I answer from a woman's perspective.
Right,
I believe that you should. Let me just let Lamar have this.
All right, let's hear it.
Everybody farts. I'm so mad right now. I've been with my boyfriend for a little while, a little over a year. We're at each other's house all the time. We don't live together, but I'm either at his place or he's at mine. So we've discussed moving in together when our leases are up. I've been staying at his place more frequently and I've gotten quite comfortable and I don't mind farting around him. He has a problem with that. He said, excuse yourself and go in the bathroom. I told him to chill. Everybody farts. So I just fart when I have to. Lately, he's been standoffish and telling me he's tired, and we've been spending less time together. I went to his house unannounced because I thought he was up to something, but he wasn't. So we had a real conversation. He wants to break up because I don't leave the room to fart. Is farting a problem for you?
Okay, natural, yes, but I mean, yeah, I'm kind of with him. You don't just fart in front of me. I mean,
All right.
I mean, go walk away. Just give yourself a little distance so you can, But I mean, if she's doing it, she's comfortable. I mean, it's just, I guess, how bad is it? It's like, I had a similar situation. I farted the first time the other night.
Oh no.
She was in the back. She said, "Are you in there farting?" I was like, "Ooh, I thought she was in the bathroom."
Wait a minute. Listen,
I'm like, "Hey, we're here now." Fuck it.
I mean, no, and like I said, I had a conversation with my stepfather many years ago. I used to do his hair. He used to have a jerry curl, so we used to spend a couple hours together, and we just have conversations about relationships. And he told me, he said, "Listen, if you have to pass gas, excuse yourself. Don't no man want to smell your insides." That's what my stepfather told me, and that always stayed with me. So any man that I ever been with, I would get up, and I mean, so, of course, sometimes one slip out because your stomach hurt, or
yeah, I mean, you have a little slip up, but I mean, just to lay over the bed and roll over and like, hey, come on,
right,
man.
right. That's what she's doing, and this brother's like,
she's turning him off. That's a turn off. I mean, you gotta, like you said, get up, go to the bathroom. This is next. So I don't know.
Right. I'm just saying.
I guess I used to take pride in being a dad. I used to go fart on my daughter. I walked by and fart on her head or something when she was little.
Well, that's different when you're a dad. You know what I'm saying? That's different than somebody that you want to be intimate with and you look at them a certain way. And again, I'm not saying that, every time. Like if you're in a car driving, you're on a long trip, of course, you don't want to break your stomach to blow up.
Yeah, not in the car. Don't do that.
I mean, if you have to, if you're driving somewhere, you can't
tell me roll the windows down.
Right, roll the window down. But I'm just saying, you gotta in an instance when you have to, that's okay. But I think it's ladylike for a woman to get up and excuse herself because I'm sure she wasn't doing that when they first met.
I know. I mean, she's comfortable. I mean, I listen. I don't want that, but I respect that she's that comfortable. So.
I tell women all the time, if you wouldn't have said it to him when you first met him, don't say it to him now. If you wouldn't have did it to him when you first met him, don't do it now. Like seriously, because you're showing a man, like you wouldn't curse him out in the first 2 weeks. But now that y'all been together and you comfortable, you cursing his brother out, emasculating him, talking crazy. You wouldn't fart. You got up when y'all was at chilling and you so scared, I got to the bathroom. So you could get up and do it. So and this man is telling you,
yeah,
I don't like that.
I guess the thing is, does he do that around you? If he doesn't do that around you, then yeah, I mean, y'all should both be like, every once in a while you slip up, cool, but don't just be like, I'm just gonna do this. And you know what? I've dated younger, young girls burp all the time, like men. Yeah, be riding in the car just burping and stuff. You're like.
I don't know.
I got this one ex boy. I got a secret. Ooh.
You got to tell us now.
I'll tell you on camera.
Tell everybody. They want to know. They ain't gonna know who it is.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's gonna know who it is. Tell us.
I'll tell you.
Tell us now.
I'll tell you later.
They want to know. Man,
I seen that. Ooh, throw up.
Somebody said when I was young, that was always fun to me. But as I got older, I feel that is rude sometimes. If he's telling her it's a turn off, she doesn't want to adjust. That's disrespectful. Time to go.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like using the bathroom with the door open. What do you do then? I don't use the bathroom with the door open if I'm pooping.
My grandmother used to leave the bathroom door open. She's like, I gotta watch y'all asses. So she She always had a gown on, so you just saw her sitting down. It wasn't like you saw anything, but she like, it's my house. I'm not shutting no doors. And I'll be like,
oh no, Grandma.
I mean, we just
Oh no.
you just walk past and you close your eyes.
Director Smith. Director Smith. My Director Smith. I Trey just said, not my Director Smith. Former director.
Is that who the question is?
No, this is somebody. Director Smith from Newark. Wait a minute. Email me. Oh my God, how are you? Is that my Director Smith that I was coaching? Hold on, I got it. Never mind. Wait, we getting ready to get off. Oh, it's 10 o'clock already. So anyway, I'm saying this to the ladies. I love y'all. I really love y'all. I really do love y'all. But when a man tells you there's something that he does not like, the best thing for you to do is to honor that. Or he will or may walk away, right? Like if a man is telling you, don't be farting in front of me, like I don't like it, it's a turn off.
Yeah, you're gonna see it's gonna turn him off, and he's not gonna be intimate. He's not gonna look at you the same, stuff like that. So
we cut her off.
Just respect that and just keep it moving.
Right, he cut her off. Like, yo, you just gotta really honor the person that you're with. I'm so serious right now. You really have to honor the person you're with, and when they tell you there's something that feels disrespectful to them, or when they tell you it's something that they just don't like and you keep doing it, they feel like you're disrespecting them. And then that just shows them that when I tell this person something else that I don't like, if they feel like they just want to do it, they're just going to do it. And that's no way to be in a relationship. It starts with the farting. And then
it just leads into other things. So
right, because you should have said, like, okay, then I'll excuse myself, but forgive me if one slip out.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry. I'll get up.
Right, but she like, it's just chill. It's just farting.
I think the best practice for most relationships with this situation is to get up, go to the bathroom, and sit down. Especially at our age, I don't be trying to be farting all the time because I'm good.
Right, that's. I don't even want.
But I'm just saying, it's just like my dad told me all the time. He said, "Man, the older you get," he said, "you don't be trusting farts." He said, "Don't."
Oh no!
he's like, hey. You go get one slip up,
no.
and you'll be like, "Ooh, I need to go sit down." When your stomach is bubbling, go sit down.
Oh no! Is that what he said? The older you get,
yeah.
Yes, it's the do's and don'ts. I see what you're saying. Right? Yeah, right. He's telling you be respectful. Right? Hold on. Better to bear the shame than bear the pain. Yes, I really don't like when people leave the door open. Right. We have to tell people. If he's telling her it's a turn off, she doesn't want to. Yeah, it's disrespectful. Yes, that's it. I'm telling you, ladies, if you want to keep that man, respect his wishes and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely.
Men too. Like, me personally, I don't want a man passing gas around me. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. And I don't want to smell you. Period. I do not want to smell you. Again, if one comes out because your stomach hurt or whatever, we all get it. But sometimes some things is just ghetto. And we don't want it. So it's 10 o'clock. Any last thoughts, Lamar? I know we have a little technical difficulties.
My computers decided to do an update. So
that's okay.
Last thoughts. I don't know, I always kind of leave it the same things, but just, you know what? I tell people this: as you grow and there's the things that you've decided in your life that you haven't experienced or don't want to experience, start doing some things. Like I told you, I went to a Rolling Stones concert a couple of weeks ago, and my initial thing was I didn't want to go. I didn't, but then I had already told myself a couple of months back, it's like, stop being afraid to go do something different, come out your comfort zone. And I'm so glad I did. So I would say to people is, don't be afraid, do some things, put yourself out of your comfort zone, because you're a grower. And I think you'll like who you become if you keep doing those things.
That's good. Keep growing, because when you're not growing, you're dying or unalive. Oops, we on TikTok. Flag you for saying that word,
Really? Oh,
yes, they will flag you. But anyway, my final thought would be everybody gets to have their preferences, right? And you have to respect that if you want to be with the person, whether it's somebody with a hairy back, whether it's somebody that keep farting, whether it's somebody with stretch marks, whether it's somebody that bring home an outside baby. You get to decide for you what's enough for you. You get to decide for you when to cut it off. You get to decide for you. And no matter what anybody thinks from the outside, including me and Lamar, you got to do what's best for you. And that is the key to happiness. Now, we're not saying be petty and, just cut people off or whatever, but you got to do what's best for you. And only you should be deciding for you. So at the end of the day, when you lay your head down on that pillow, you could say, I made this decision for myself, good, bad, or indifferent. It was me. It wasn't my girlfriends.
Right.
It wasn't my mama. It was me. So I'm happy with my decision, whatever way it goes. So thank y'all for tuning in. This is Looking for Love. We're here every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network YouTube channel. I'm Trey Kearney. This is my co-host,
Lamar Hall.
You can find me at Trey Kearney on Instagram and at Trey Kearney 26 on TikTok. And you can find Lamar
MAR_T_Hall 13
on Instagram. And if you want to shoot us a email, you can email me at info@TreyKearney.com. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you have a question, please DM us. You can DM Lamar if you're more comfortable and you're a man. You could DM me, or you could just reach out underneath the comments, and we'll be more than happy to share your thoughts. So we love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the New U Nation Network for Looking for Love. Peace and blessings.